You show you care. Be Namibian, by Namibian. Team Namibia, supporting local to grow Namibia. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Team Namibia.
Welcome to This is Namibia, a brand new show by Travel News Namibia and Venture Media. We'll be taking you across spectacular Namibia, explore stunning destinations, meet interesting people, learn about Namibia's conservation success stories, and discover more about this enigmatic land. Namibia is home to the largest natural canyon in Africa, second only to the United States' Grand Canyon. The Fish River Canyon of southern Namibia, that measures an impressive 160 kilometers in length, was proclaimed a national monument in 1962 and a nature reserve in 1968. Apart from being a popular tourist attraction, the almost 90-kilometer hiking route is rated one of the best in the world. The formation of this massive gorge is as impressive as it is to experience. About 30 meters above the present level of the river, the predecessor to the Fish River Canyon was gorged out by southward moving glaciers and erosion some 350 million years ago. The canyon, as seen today, formed around 130 million years ago, after the breakup of the Gondwana supercontinent. At a massive 8 kilometers at its widest point and up to 190 meters deep, the upper canyon forms a tectonic trough which subsided along fault lines within the Earth's crust. The southern lower canyon only stretches over a width of up to 5 kilometers, but is much deeper, measuring 550 meters at the deepest point. Here, the erosion played the most important role as the force of the river current caused incisions into the underlying rocks. This is Namibia explored the canyon from the Fish River Lodge. Located right on the edge of the western side of the canyon, it is situated inside the 45,000-hectare Canyon Nature Park and has a 70-kilometer river frontage. The views from the lodge and its 2 additional fully serviced glamping camps, Edge and Eternity, are truly unrivaled, as it is the only accommodation on both edges of the Fish River Canyon. Doing a guided hike or drive down into the canyon is an excellent way to get intimately acquainted with the different geological layers and formation history of this masterpiece of nature. The This Is Namibia team were endlessly entertained by our knowledgeable guide Willem, who explained the creation of the canyon and shared anecdotes and details on all the fauna and flora in the area. Willem had the team so engaged that an 8-hour hike down to the bottom and back up the canyon passed in a blink. Introduced Edge and Eternity camps are located 26 and 8.2 kilometers from the lodge respectively. Both camps are built in a similar way, with tents set up in stone gabion shelters to protect against the harsh winds that are regularly experienced along the rim. The camps have all the luxuries to fall under the banner of glamping, yet retain low footprints on the sensitive environment where they are situated. Even if winds can be severe at times, sitting with a sundowner on the camp's decks overlooking the extraordinary Fish River Canyon is without a doubt unforgettable.
The top. That's where we all aiming. To be the top Jita. Top company. To be at all the top rooms. To feel those top sensations. We all want to be at the top of our game, no? Earning the top dollar, Nense. Yeah, the top. With top score. Because for us, there's no braai unless it's a top braai. With some top chicken drumsticks on the grill. And there's no pub unless it's top score, cooked at top speed. With the top taste, the top aroma, the top texture. You know what I mean. The top. That's where we all aiming. And that's where Top Score takes us. Top Score, a proud product of Namib Mills.
This week's summer product of the week, the Afro 210 Junior. We're going to go through how to pitch it. Easiest will always be opening your bag and sorting out your different components. In your bag, you will have your main tent, you will have your poles for your tent, you will have your pegs, you will have your fly sheet for over the top. At the beginning, you will open your tent to determine which way is front and which way you want it to face. As soon as you've got your tent open, you will take your poles and get to the interesting part. On your poles, you'll have a cross on your main pole, and from there it is untangling all your poles to get each set of poles to the right location. So as soon as you've got your 4 legs set to the sides you would like, the easiest will be the one leg is attached to the cross. So from there you start with that side, you assemble the leg. As soon as you have it assembled, place it in the little hole provided. As soon as it's in, nice and firm, you can go to the opposite side. As soon as you're on the opposite side, keep pressure on the pole so that it doesn't auto disassemble. You can go around assembling the opposite side's leg. Press it up and push it into the hole provided. Then, by making sure it's upright, you start with one of the remaining 2 legs. This is where it becomes a bit tricky. You leave this one out, come round, do the other side, the first pole. That is just so you have a bit of leverage when the other leg is inserted, to make sure you can bend it down and continue with the poles. With a bit of trying and persistence, press it into the hole. You grab on the single pole, enter on the other side, bend it down and complete your leg. Now on each of the 4 corners, you will have a grommet for the tent pegs to attach your tent to the ground. As soon as your framework is done, you will open your main door. You will open your netting under the main door and basically get into your tent. This is the easiest way. If you were to start at the bottom, you're going to have a struggle to complete it at the top. You're going to lift your material up and hook your top 4 tent hooks to make sure that your tent is hanging in its frame. Just as a little safety measure, got the lace as well, which you just tie to for extra support. One by one, you take your middle hook running down the leg and clip it to each of the 4 legs. From there, it's quite easy. You will start from the top of each leg and you will hook all your points to the poles. The front door on your smaller tents, you will just roll up, and there is clips provided to keep it up. Your netting on the inside to keep your tent free of mosquitoes at night. Also have clips provided so that you don't have to open and close every day. What's nice about this range, at the top of your material you have a netting, which is basically, if it's hot on the inside, there's a little flap, you have nice air ventilation. Another addition to the bag, as discussed before, you've got your fly sheet, which is to assist you in keeping out rain, dust when the times get tough, and adds a bit of heat during your winter months. Just throw it over the top, and in the side of the tent have little grommet. You will fasten your fly sheet. Very important to remember, when purchasing a canvas tent, it will never be fully waterproof. While stitching, your cotton pierces holes into the canvas, and this can cause some leakage. There is a full procedure on how to waterproof a canvas tent once purchased. We have the information in store, and you can give us a ring if you would like us to assist you over the telephone. This week's product of the week, we've got the Simart Greensport Afro 210 Junior.
Oh, yang gue mau napa? Dia wina.
Kurumbu ya papo ina ya papo kubo. Itu cari papo kubo.
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. But it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
Kutsia, and this is my message to you. We all have a choice. Your choice does not only affect you, but mostly affect those around you. Please stay at home in order for you to help us save lives. This is not a rehearsal. Please stay at home.
The mighty Zambezi River, the longest east-flowing river in Africa, a river that flows through 6 countries, home to a plethora of wild species of fauna and flora, a lifeline for many people whose livelihoods are dependent on the abundance the river brings. Globally, communities who live along rivers rely on these rivers to survive. Communities living along the Zambezi call it the river of life, bringing water for their crops and fish as their main protein source. In Namibia, a country situated in sub-Saharan Africa, the Zambezi River sits at the heart of CAZA, the Kavango-Zambezi Trans-Frontier Conservation Area, which is one of the greatest conservation areas on Earth, a stronghold for very many of our most iconic wildlife. I'm right now where the river forms the border between Namibia and Zambia.
This enormous water body provides sustenance to a wide array of wildlife, bird and fish species. It's also a lifeline for human beings.
The same communities are the people also who are doing the illegal activities.
The price of fishing has gone up because fish has become scarce.
The more they finish us, the more our life gets harder and harder.
These days, it is very rare to get a big bream unless in those protected areas.
A small group of community members, together with non-governmental organizations like Namibian Nature Foundation, are fighting back.
We have to start thinking out of the box, to be honest, because what's going to happen is going to be out of this box that we haven't seen before.
By creating protected areas, monitoring and patrolling, fish stocks have a chance at recovery. These are the stories of the people fighting for the continued existence of their communities. These are the last defenders.
Struggling with no food, no what. But we didn't stop. If I don't do it, our young children, they'll never know the fish.